Imagine zipping across lush landscapes at incredible speeds, connecting with loved ones in distant cities within hours. This dream is a reality in Europe, Japan, China, and even South Korea. But in the land of the free, the United States, we're still dreaming. Superfast trains race across Morocco, Saudi Arabia, and Indonesia, but none of them are in New York City or California. United States, with over 5,000 public airports and 4.3 million miles of road network, has gradually lost the railway race. In the meantime, its Asian and European peers have taken over the lead. But things were not always the same. The US had its golden days in railway transportation. It gradually lost its sheen to its ever-expanding highways and sprawling airport network. The US was one of the earliest countries to introduce rail transportation to the public. The world's leading economy had its first passenger train in 1827. In comparison, Japan started its first passenger rail about 4.5 decades later, only in 1872. By this time, the US had already completed about 45,000 miles of track. When Japan was crawling in terms of railway connectivity, the US was building nationwide railway infrastructure. By the end of the 19th century, it had completed more than 215,000 miles of track. 80% of the newly constructed railway lines were completed only in the previous 30 years. At the onset of the First World War, the USA had an impressive 254,000 miles of railway track. By 1915, the booming rail industry employed over 1.7 million Americans. Fast forward a century, today, Japan's futuristic maglev trains can reach the top speed of up to 375 miles per hour. So what about the US? Its collapsing railway infrastructure struggles to reach a top speed of even 150 miles per hour. The comparison doesn't end here. Today, when Japan has over 1,900 miles of high-speed railway track, the USA only has 375 miles of track that can even handle more than 100 miles per hour. This speed limit is just half of 200+ miles per hour standard of most bullet train lines in Japan. The high-speed network revolution in Japan began in 1964. This was the year when Japan introduced its high-speed railway network called Shinkansen, which is popularly known as the bullet train. This was also the time when the USA was aggressively adding more cars to its busy highways and more planes in the sky. Today, Japan's sophisticated bullet train network ferries around 84 million passengers a year. Ironically, the breakdown of the US's railway started precisely at the time when Japan started doubling down on high-speed rail networks. By the early 1970s, famous railroads in America, like the New York Central, were practically bankrupt. Next, they handed over their loss-making rail operations to Amtrak, the national rail operator founded in 1971. What follows is improvement in U.S. freight railroads while passenger trains have been grossly ignored. Over the last 5 decades, U.S. lawmakers have turned a blind eye to passenger trains. Plus, powerful lobbies from the airline, oil, and auto industries in Washington have put the last nails in the U.S. rail infrastructure. These strong lobbies spend millions of dollars every year to maintain their superiority over rail transportation. The results? The US now lags decades behind Japan when it comes to high-speed passenger trains. These lobbies and government apathy have damaged US rail infrastructure in several ways. Most US rail tracks are now too old to handle high-speed networks and new technologies. Sharp curves, old bridges, and overhead power lines need to be removed to support Japan-like advanced trains. These are not enough investments to bridge the US railway's infrastructure gaps. Even though too little too late, the US is trying to catch up with its advanced peers in the high-speed rail race. The road transportation and aviation lobbies are recently losing grip due to concerns over congestion in the U.S. road transport network. Also, the aviation industry in the country has reached a point of meltdown. Then, there are growing worries over carbon emissions. Emissions from cars and planes is overwhelmingly high as compared to high-speed trains. Many of the U.S. lawmakers have understood the fact that high-speed rail needs a revamp. Biden administration's 2021 infrastructure bill has set aside billions of dollars for Amtrak. This investment is going to help Amtrak's Acela trains surpass 160 miles per hour in Boston, New York, and Washington, D.C. Amtrak also has a plan to add 100 miles of track capable of hosting bullet trains by 2035. Additional funds have also been earmarked for some other high-speed rail projects. These include California's high-speed rail system and Brightline West's Las Vegas to LA train. Even though the US is expected to take decades to reach the world-class rail transportation system of Japan, the government is hopeful. It reflects in the words of Mitch Landrieu, Joe Biden's senior advisor on infrastructure. He said, "At the end of the day, at some point, hopefully in the not-too-distant future in the United States of America, we're not only starting to catch up with other countries, but surpass that."